Part 156. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1551. Chapter 1551. The relationship between brothers gets better too. During this period, although Wang Tianyu still said that he did not regard him as his brother and still hated Tang Yuge, it was not because of Jian Yuman that he would not meet and talk to him. But it still couldn't stop them from being brothers, and their relationship slowly returned to the past. They were brothers who had a good relationship, but they were hated by Wang Tianyu because of Uncle Wang. But because of Jian Yuman, the relationship gradually improved. This time something happened to the Tang family and the family. Wang Tianyu did not hesitate to help them and search for the Tang family together. Use their dark power from the Eastern Bloc to search on a world scale. The Eastern Group was formerly an international underworld organization, but it was later slowly washed away. However, the original power still exists, and it will not change completely overnight. When it comes to finding people, it must be easier for Wang Tianyu than them. I'm not doing it for you, I'm afraid that Manman will be sad. Besides, my relationship with little Mickey is also very good. Wang Tianyu was very stubborn and refused to admit that this matter had anything to do with Tang Yuge. But to be honest, the relationship between Wang Tianyu and little Mickey is indeed very good. Little Mickey always called him Uncle Wang affectionately, and often left the children to Jian Yuman when he was in a hurry. She completely treats him as a nanny, so the whole family often sits together and complains about Jian Yuman's inhumanity. Especially when Jian Yuman and Tang Yuge went to the resort for a month's vacation. Under the instigation of little Mickey, he took his two children and Anil, who was clinging to him, to act as their light bulb. The relationship between Wang Tianyu and little Mickey is definitely better than that between Qi Lili and the others. Tang Yuge smiled and shook his head at Wang Tianyu's words. There was nothing he could do about his mouth. Whether it's for me or not, I want to thank you for your help. Wang Tianyu raised his eyebrows and looked at Tang Yuge's haggard face with interest. During this period, Tang Yuge has been busy because of the Tang family's affairs. The shadow under his eyes can tell how tired he is during this period, and he has not had a good rest. Thank you so early. I originally wanted to come over and tell you some good news today. Good news? Is there any news about little Mickey? Tang Yuge lost control of his mood. He searched for many days, but there was no news about little Mickey. Wang Tianyu took out a photo from his pocket and handed it to Tang Yuge. This is the news my people just received. It is confirmed that little Mickey left in this helicopter. Look here. It is not obvious that the helicopter took away little Mickey, but in one corner of the photo, little Mickey can be seen. The part that was exposed was wrong, probably only his pants, and his head and upper body were both being held and couldn't be seen clearly. But just this little bit made Tang Yuge immediately recognize him as little Mickey. It's really little Mickey. Tang Yuge held the photo excitedly, his eyes turning red. Judging from the photo, the child's life should not be in danger. If they wanted to kill little Mickey, they didn't need to take him out of the country. They could just kill him on the spot. With this photo, it is even more proof that he should be safe now. He could have guessed what Wang Tianyu said just by looking at the photo. But when Wang Tianyu was still guessing, his eyes were red and tears almost fell. It is said that a man never sheds tears easily. Facing the expectant looks of his family and wife, he is under great pressure. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1552. Chapter 1552. The relationship between brothers gets better. 3. Finally, he had a clue about his son, and the pressure and pain on him finally disappeared. He will be very happy if there are clues about little Mickey, even if they are useless clues, let alone such useful clues. After confirming the news that little Mickey was still alive and safe, Tang Yuge almost rushed into the room excitedly to find Jian Yuman to tell him the good news, but he still held it back. Where did the photo come from? Have you found any specific clues? Tanyuj asked for details calmly. The details are still under investigation. This photo was taken at a general airport in the imperial capital. According to speculation, they sent little Mickey to the imperial capital and then left in this helicopter. Wang Tianyu pointed to the sign on the helicopter in the photo and told what he knew. I have investigated this helicopter and it belongs to a businessman in the imperial capital. It is proven that it is a member of the Promise organization. Let's go to this businessman and ask for little Mickey this afternoon. Tanyuj shook his head slowly. This photo doesn't prove anything. They still have reason to deny it. They say it's just a child dressed similar to Mickey Mouse. Their face was not photographed. No matter how much they say, they won't hand over the person, but there is still nothing they can do. And what you said, that businessman is probably just an ordinary member of the Waji organization. However, I still want to thank you for helping me out. Tanyuj smiled happily and patted Wang Tianyu on the shoulder. Wang Tianyu twisted Tanyuj's arm and said arrogantly, "Who asked you to thank me? I really want to go to Manman to take credit now, so that she can see clearly who is the capable man and who helped her know where her son is. Maybe she will be empathic. Fall in love with me." Tanyuj raised his eyebrows and made an invitation gesture. "Go. I won't stop you." Suddenly, Wang Tianyu's expression became very strange, as if he wanted to take credit, but had no choice but to give up. Tanyuj smiled helplessly and shook his head. This younger brother is getting more and more alive now. But he is very happy. This phenomenon is good. Previously, Wang Tianyu had always lived in hatred, constantly making him unhappy in his career and life. How much happiness can be brought to him by injuring his enemy by 1,000 and hurting himself by 800? It makes him live in hatred every day and think about how to take revenge on Tanyuj every day. It can be said that Wang Tianyu is unhappy like that. Just like successfully breaking up Jianyuman and Tanyuj, he was also very painful because he accidentally fell in love with Jianyuman. Although Wang Tianyu is still a bit arrogant and tough-tongued sometimes, he has returned to the lively way he was when he was a child. Hate is in my heart, and I will never let go of the relaxation and happiness. God bless. Please continue to follow up on this matter, but don't alert the snake. That mysterious man is deliberately trying to harm me and my family. I will use a strategy to lure the snake out of the hole, once and for all, and prevent him from harming my family again. I see. Sorry to bother you. I'm not used to being so polite, Wang Tianyu said silently. What are you talking about? We are chatting so happily and harmoniously. Are we talking about Yil's pregnancy? But this matter is not sure yet. It's a little early for you to be happy, isn't it? God bless. Hey. God bless, don't hit me. As soon as he appeared on the stage, he was kicked by Wang Tianyu because of his words and his ability to think. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1553. Chapter 1553, Giving Birth 1. Murong, don't talk nonsense. Yile and I are just friends, Wang Tianyu stated angrily. Murong took a step back in disgust, not letting anyone off his words. It's your woman, it's your woman, it's your woman. How about it? Do you want to have a fight? Even if you win, it's your woman. We've slept with you and you still don't admit it? How can you be so irresponsible? Be careful in the future. Do your children chase you and call you daddy, or are you usually very messy in this regard? If you think about it this way, it may not only be Yile's children who call you daddy, but there may also be 7 or 8 illegitimate children. I didn't expect you to look like this. He is so serious, but his private life is so imprudent, hey. Mirong turned on the gun mode with his mouth. He couldn't stop it overnight, just like a machine gun shooting at Wang Tianyuo. Wang Tianyuo's face looked ugly. He picked up a vase beside him and ran after Mirong Ye. Hey, hey. Why are you so violent? This is the Tang family, not yours. If you do this, I will end our friendship with you. Without such a good friend like me, you will regret it for the rest of your life. Tang Yuj covered his ears with a headache and left. It would be better not to disturb them. Whoever is your friend, please don't have random relationships. I am familiar with you. As for Mirong Ye and Wang Tianyuo, they were friends many years ago. Later, Tang Yuj broke off their friendship with Wang Tianyuo, and even the Mirong family with their accomplices was boycotted by him. In the next few years, Tang Yuj and Mirong Ye started a business together. When he took revenge on Tang Yuj, he naturally had to take revenge on Mirong Ye as well. Since Wang Tianyuo and Tang Yuj's attitude improved, the relationship between Mirong Ye and Wang Tianyuo has also improved a lot. Ah, help, someone is killing someone is dead. Who can help me? Mirong Ye shouted while running for his life. Tang Yuj returned to the study and immediately called Secretary Zhang over. He gave him the photo Wang Tianyuo had just given him and told him what needed to be done later. 2 days later, Tang Yuj held the information in his hand, and his face finally showed the only smile he had seen in the past 2 days. With this information, at least I can explain something to my wife. After a few days of recovery, Qian Yuman's complexion has recovered a lot. The fetus is fine in the belly for the time being and is expanding every day. Tang Yuj took the materials, pushed the door open and returned to the room. He saw Qian Yuman holding a book in her hand, leaning against the floor-to-ceiling window, sitting on the carpet, and accidentally fell asleep. The quiet and peaceful atmosphere made him unconsciously lighten his steps and slowly walk to Qian Yuman's side. Qian Tang Yuj called softly. He was still sleeping and was not disturbed by his cry. Tang Yuj also sat cross-legged next to her, leaning on his arms and quietly looking at the sleeping figures in the area. He became obsessed with it and couldn't recover after watching it for a long time. Tang Yuj watched anxiously for half an hour without realizing that time was passing quickly. Qian Yuman was asleep, her eyelashes trembled slightly, her eyes rolled slightly, and she slowly opened her eyes. As soon as he opened his eyes, he saw Tang Yuj's handsome face, with a faint smile on his lips. He opened his arms and threw himself into Tang Yuj's arms. He caught the soft jade firmly, smelled the scent of her hair, and it didn't break the light warmth of the moment. "It's so nice to see you. As soon as I wake up," Qian Yuman buried her head in his neck and murmured to herself with a happy smile. The finale is coming soon, and there will be some extras with supporting characters. Which couples do you want the matchmaker to get married with? Who do you want to have a side story with? Who do you want to see with whom? Of course you can also do some random things, come on. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1554. Chapter 1554, Giving Birth to. From now on, every time I wake you up, how about being the first person you see when you wake up? Really? If this is the case, we have agreed. Kan Yi Manlai acted coquettishly in Tang Yuj's arms. I'm so happy to have you. Me too. I would definitely be a happier woman if little Mickey was around. Not long after she was happy, Qian Yuman thought of her son who had been missing for a long time, and her eyes couldn't help but get wet again. Since becoming pregnant, I have become more and more sentimental. Little Mickey's disappearance has not been able to get Qian Yuman out of the haze. Tang Yuj thought of the purpose of coming to Qian Yuman and picked up the information that had been put aside for a long time. Honey, there's news about little Mickey. Qian Yuman, who was still in Tang Yuj's arms, stiffened and pushed Tang Yuj away suddenly. Her eyes fell on the information in Tanyush's hand, her eyes were red, and she picked up his information, her body trembling slightly. Is this the result of the investigation into little Mickey's matter? Yes, why don't you open it and take a look? I'm a little nervous. Jian Yuman showed a smile that was uglier than crying, opened the document bag tremblingly, and took out the information inside. Tanyuj also explained the source of this information. Actually, there was something about little Mickey 2 days ago, but the matter is not very certain yet. I was afraid that I would not tell you the matter because of your joy. It was the clue that Tianyu found, the photo in your hand. It was given by Tianyu. When I learned that little Mickey was last seen at a general airport in the imperial capital, I immediately sent Secretary Zhang to search the imperial capital. Since the imperial capital is Xiaoshan's territory, I asked him for help and got the accurate information in 2 days. Clue. Tanyuj pointed to a report, which was also a report on the whereabouts of little Mickey. This radar report can now confirm that little Mickey is no longer in the country and is taking a helicopter to Africa in the southwest, pointing to a small map on the report. There is a place here in South Africa, the specific location has not been determined yet, at least the scope has been shortened to this place. In most of these places, life is still very primitive, and it is relatively difficult to find people, but it is much better than before. I believe that we will be able to bring our son back soon. Jian Yuman looked at the reports in her hand excitedly. She could read the contents of the reports at a glance. She read it carefully several times to confirm that she had read it correctly. South Africa, is this the place where Mr. Lan often sends Yingj to dig for diamonds? Jian Yuman also knew about the fact that Xian Yingj had been with Jian Yuman several times, and Tanyuj, a jealous man, used his relationship to force Xian Yingj to go to South Africa to dig diamonds. After knowing this, I felt that the poor and lovely little Yingj was manipulated by unscrupulous bosses and boss friends several times. Yes, it's the place where little Mickey finally disappeared because the South African Yingj is very familiar with it. He had already taken a plane to South Africa to find his son in person in the morning. Then let's go to. Jian Yuman looked at Tanyuj expectantly. Tanyuj smiled and shook his head, pointing at Jian Yuman's belly and raising an eyebrow. Is she sure she wanted to go with the baby? Jian Yuman looked at her belly with some annoyance. She was pregnant, and there were very few places she could go. Why was she in poor and backward Africa? With her delicate body, she had no capital to be willful. She went to South Africa to find her son, so she could only stay at home and wait. The child arrives. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 1555. Chapter 1555, Giving Birth 3. Jian Yuman looked at her belly with some annoyance. She was pregnant, and there were very few places she could go. Why was she in poor and backward Africa? With her delicate body, she had no capital to be willful. She went to South Africa to find her son, so she could only stay at home and wait. The child arrives. Seeing Jian Yuman's annoyance, Tanyuj gently held her in his arms and comforted her softly. When the child is found, I can take you to Africa. I will leave this matter to Yingj. With his ability, our son will be able to return to us soon. Tanyuj still wants to investigate the real culprit behind the scenes, and does not want to leave Jian Yuman. In his heart, his son is very important, but not having a wife is more important. If little Mickey, who was living a primitive tribal life in Africa, knew that his father was such a guy who values sex over children, he would definitely burst into tears and complain that he had an unscrupulous father. Okay, pregnant women cannot be willful, so I will take good care of the baby in my belly and wait for my brother's return with me. Jian Yuman hugged Tanyuj, feeling soft in her heart. Little Mickey will be fine. Now we have clues, which is a good start. However, we may have to go abroad in the next few days. Hey, Can I go out? Is the ban lifted? Qian Yuman was surprised. Her body was almost rested and she really wanted to go out for some fresh air every day. But I know the current situation at home clearly, and I don't dare to go out for fear of getting into trouble again. She didn't want to become a burden to the family and Tang Yuj, so she resisted going out again. She cannot be willful. Unexpectedly, Tang Yuj suddenly said that she could go abroad to play and go shopping in the mall. She was so happy, let alone going abroad. Why? Why? Do you trust me to go out? Or do you want to accompany me, or do you think the murderer has been found? Tang Yuj shook his head. It's not a problem for us to hide at home every day. If the other party really wants to hurt us, even if we hide at home, something will happen. What's more, I will accompany you abroad this time and protect you by my side. Really, Qian Yuman still didn't believe that happiness would come so suddenly. Tang Yuj chuckled and patted her head lovingly. Actually, it was your best friend, Comrade Chao Xiaofeng, who called to protest that I wouldn't take you to see her. She is about to give birth, and you don't even know to go see her. Her due date is just a few days away. I really hope you can be with her. Qian Yuman was stunned, and his eyes instantly lit up. Are we going to London? A few days ago, Qian Yuman was on the phone with Chao Xiaofeng and knew that her due date was coming soon, but because the Tang family's situation was quite bad, she never mentioned it. A few months ago, Chao Xiaofeng and Qian Yuman's brother Xian Yuanxun held a wedding and officially became husband and wife. Chao Xiaofeng, who married Xian Yuanxun, naturally lived in the Xian family in London. A few months later, Chao Xiaofeng, who was happy again, was about to usher in the birth of a new life. Qian Yuman, the matchmaker, really wanted to see her best friend, and she even wanted to see the birth of her little nephew with her own eyes. The little nephew is her best friend, and the child of her half-brother is naturally loved by everyone. Tang Yuj took out 2 tickets and stuffed them into Qian Yuman's hands. Your brother's house is also very safe. Not everyone can enter the entire castle easily, so a change of environment is just for you to relax. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1556. Chapter 1556 Departing for London. Tang Yuj took out 2 tickets and stuffed them into Qian Yuman's hands. Your brother's house is also very safe. Not everyone can enter the entire castle easily, so a change of environment is just for you to relax. Qian Yuman found the ticket that Tang Yuj handed over and looked at Tang Yuj with some surprise. Air tickets. Yes, I bought the air ticket directly. It's for the day after tomorrow. You should prepare in the past 2 days. I will go to London with you to see them. Qian Yuman screamed, happily opened her arms and hugged Tang Yuj's waist tightly, her body trembling with excitement. Husband, I love you the most, I love you to death, you are my little angel. She has been really bored these days. She can go out to relax, see her brother and best friends, and see the birth of her little nephew. At this moment, she felt so happy. To be so pampered by him, he is always so considerate. Thinking of her pain, to be able to find such a man must be because she saved the galaxy in her previous life. I know you love me, and I love you too, Tang Yuj said affectionately. Qian Yuman's eyes also became very gentle. She held Tang Yuj's head with firm and serious eyes. Mr. Tang, had I not been pregnant for only 1 month, I would have put you to sleep at this moment. Qian Yuman's tone was serious. Tang Yuj thought she had something important to say, but she didn't expect that what she said was a vow to sleep with him. That's a pity, your body doesn't allow it now. It's okay. Wait for me for a few months. When the baby comes out of the belly, I will sleep with you for 3 days and 3 nights. Tanyuj was amused by her and nodded wildly. It's all up to you. She was going to London. Qian Yuman was very happy. She took out her mobile phone and called Chao Xiaofeng to confirm that she was going there. She also told her not to give birth in the next few days, and to wait for her to go there if she wanted to. Hang in there. Chao Xiaofeng kept laughing and almost made the child laugh out loud. Qian Yuman was excited to go to London for a long time. She happily prepared her luggage and went to the hospital to visit Tang Xingai and Grandma Tang before leaving. Tang Xingai is now out of danger and is still recuperating in the hospital. He will be recuperating for at least 3 months this time. His physical condition is relatively serious. Now he has the best result. When his body recovers, he will still need to undergo reconstruction. His leg now I can't walk because my meridians have been injured. Tang Xingai's incident was temporarily concealed by Grandma Tang, and no one dared to tell Grandma Tang's bad news. At the same time, he also conveyed the news that there is news about little Mickey, and I believe he will be able to find it soon. Grandma Tang finally heard the news about her great-grandson, and her energy and spirit improved. She also said that she would take good care of her health and welcome her great-grandson back. Seeing Grandma Tang happy, Qian Yuman was also very happy. Xian Yingj from South Africa rushed over. According to the investigation, it was determined that Mickey had appeared in a certain country in South Africa. As for the subsequent whereabouts, it still needs to be investigated. Qian Yuman is very happy that good news keeps coming. Now her goal is to maintain a good mood and take good care of the meat in her belly. Finally, the day came for Qian Yuman to leave. In order for Qian Yuman to go abroad safely, Tang Yuj sent more people to protect Qian Yuman. Wife, are you ready? Qian Yuman came out of the room, got dressed, and her luggage was taken to the airport by Tang Yuj. As long as she brought her person and passport, she could go to London. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1557. Chapter 1557 Handsome Female Bodyguard. Honey, come here. Tang Yuj stood not far away, waving to her. Yunduo, why are you here? There was another person standing behind Tang Yuj, a very handsome woman, Murong's bodyguard, whom she had met many times before because she was assigned to protect Qi Lilii. The relationship between the two of them has become better as they meet more often. Qian Yuman also admires Yun Duo, a girl with such great skills. Due to her appearance, she is obviously a girl, but she is very handsome and works as a bodyguard, so she often wears men's clothes. Only those who know her well know that she is a girl. Manman, long time no see. Yun Duo waved to Qian Yuman. Why are you here? I haven't seen you for a long time. That Murong keeps you running around every day. I really doubt whether you are a bodyguard or an employee. I'm here with you now, Yun Duo said with a smile. Tang Yuj walked up to Qian Yuman and naturally put his arms around her waist. Xiao lent us the clouds. From now on, she will protect you personally. Tang Yuj was also stalking him a few days ago, trying to get Yun Duo to come over from Murong yet. He has no shortage of female bodyguards, but those female bodyguards are not familiar with Qian Yuman. They are not as good as Yun Duo, who knows Qian Yuman. They can protect her by her side, and they can also chat with Yun Duo, and they will not be looked at by others. The feeling of being there. Wow, Duo will always stay with me from now on. That's great. Qian Yuman clapped her hands happily, extremely happy. Just be happy. Tang Yuj looked at Qian Yuman's bright smile and couldn't help but be fascinated. Seeing her happy is what he likes and wants to see most. As long as she can be happy every day, he can give anything. Husband, I love you so much. Qian Yuman hugged Tang Yuj's face and kissed her hard. Yun Duo looked at Qian Yuman and Tang Yuj showing affection in front of them, took a breath and glanced elsewhere. Cold dog food is slapped on the face, and there will be frequent dog food slaps in the future. She has already realized this. As a single, she is pitiful. But I really envy Jian Yuman for having a husband who loves her so much. I can't help but look forward to falling in love. Come on, duo, we haven't seen each other for a long time, let's chat. After Jian Yuman kissed Tang Yuj, she took Yun Duo to chat. The two of them talked and laughed happily. Tang Yuj, who was ruthlessly abandoned, stood behind them with some resentment. Wife, don't act like this. Look at the two women in front of them who exude a harmonious atmosphere. Why are they so unhappy? How could Yun Duo be a handsome boy? The picture of Yun Duo and Jian Yiman standing together and chatting happily looked like a loving couple. Wipe. Suddenly he regretted calling Yun Duo over. Didn't this add to his heart? Tang Yuj just silently became jealous of a woman who took over his own woman and had a pleasant chat. Jian Yuman left the Tang family and went to London together with Tang Yuj and a large number of people. Arrive at the airport safely all the way, and then use the exclusive VIP channel at the airport to buy Tang Yuj's private luxury plane. When Jian Yuman got on the plane, she hugged Tang Yuj happily and said, "Look, it's nothing. I was worried that someone from the Wuji organization would come to visit me. They don't know that we are leaving London," Tang Yuj said with a smile and ruffled her hair. Welcome everyone to read the new book Abstinent Husband, Fake Innocence. Alternative theme, modern royal love romance. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1558. Chapter 1558 Happy Xiaofeng 1. That's not why my husband is great. Jian Yuman smiled and clung to Tang Yuj. Jian Yuman's excitement turned into pain 1 hour after getting on the plane. Not long after the plane took off, she felt uncomfortable all over. She kept vomiting while holding the toilet. Air sickness and morning sickness made her vomit during the 10-hour flight, and her whole body felt bad. Woo woo woo. Tears are about to vomit out, and I have no appetite at all. When it's mealtime, I have to force myself to eat something because the baby in my belly needs to absorb nutrients. Jian Yuman was vomiting all the way. The distressed Tang Yuj almost asked the pilot to fly the plane back. If he had known that she would be wronged if she came out, he would not have let her out. Fortunately, Jian Yuman stopped her, otherwise she would have vomited in vain. In order to go to London, it doesn't matter. Besides, pregnant women are like this, and it's not the first time she has vomited like this. Tang Yuj was so distressed that he kept taking care of her. He didn't even close his eyes to rest, and kept taking care of her. The 10-hour flight finally landed safely. Jian Yuman also felt like she had been reborn. However, she had no strength to walk due to vomiting. She was carried by Tang Yuj all the way off the plane and into the car, and she continued to hold her all the way to the destination. Enter the room. She had fallen asleep due to fatigue a long time ago. She didn't even know she had arrived at her destination and had been sleeping in Tang Yuj's arms. Tang Yuj gently put Jian Yuman into the room, covered her with a quilt, and walked out of the room softly. With her belly about to give birth, Chao Xiaofeng came to the door of the room with the support of her husband Xian Yuanxuan. Because I haven't seen my best friend for a long time, I excitedly rushed in, but was held back by Xian Yuanxuan. Xiaofeng, be careful, people won't run away. Chao Xiaofeng smiled happily, and when she was about to knock on the door, Tang Yuj came out. Tang Yuj put his index finger on the buckle and closed the door softly. Jianer fell asleep. She kept vomiting on the plane and fell asleep not long ago. Oh, Chao Xiaofeng shrugged her shoulders in disappointment, expecting to see Jian Yuman right away. Yuj, come on, let's go. I'll take you to eat delicious food. I've prepared a lot of food. Manman is not lucky, so you have to help her eat her share. Chow Xiaofeng entertained her warmly, pulling Tanyuj was about to go to dinner. Xian Yuengxun held Chow Xiaofeng's hand unhappily. Honey, you are holding another man's hand in front of your husband, are you sure this is really okay? Chow Xiaofeng smiled and glared at him. What's wrong? I still have a baby kicked in my stomach, so I can still run away. Then you have to be careful. You know you have a baby in your belly. If you continue to be so impatient, the baby will come out a few days early. Xian Yuengxun was frightened when he saw it. Chow Xiaofeng was about to give birth and was still walking as fast as flying. He asked her to slow down a little, but they all said it was fine. There is no pregnant woman like her. Oh, I'm happy to see them, you're so annoying, I know the situation, I can still run 2 steps, this is nothing. Chow Xiaofeng said she was annoyed, but there was a happy smile on her lips. Tanyuj stared at Chow Xiaofeng's belly, thinking that if Manman had such a big belly, he would be as nervous as Xian Yuengxun, maybe even more exaggerated. Last time, he did not accompany his wife throughout the pregnancy, nor until the birth and growth of the child. This time he must participate in the whole process and protect them well. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1559. Chapter 1559 Happy Xiaofeng 2. Seeing that he couldn't persuade Chow Xiaofeng, Xian Yuengxun had no choice but to carefully take care of her and prevent her from having any accidents. Tanyuj finished his meal, chatted with them for a few words, and then went upstairs to accompany Qian Yuman. Yunduo, who was protecting Qian Yuman in the room, saw Tanyuj coming back, nodded and left to rest, and then let Tanyuj take care of himself. Qian Yuman didn't wake up until midnight. She was woken up by hunger. Just as she was about to get up, Tanyuj hugged her around the waist. Wife. Husband, let go, your wife will starve to death. Qian Yuman now wants to find food. If she doesn't eat, she may faint. Tanyuj slowly woke up, with a faint smile on his lips, and also got up. Hungry. I'm starving to death. Qian Yuman nodded wildly. He hadn't been woken up by hunger for a long time, and now he wanted to go out quickly to find something to eat. Are you tired? Do you want me to cook for you? Tanyuj raised his eyebrows and suggested, which was immediately questioned by Qian Yuman. How can I possibly eat it if you only have some craftsmanship? Tanyuj, who was hit hard, became stubborn and patted his chest. Leave it to me this time. Okay, as long as you are happy, Qian Yuman said sadly. Arrived in the kitchen, Qian Yuman sat cross-legged on a chair, drinking the freshly squeezed juice made by Tanyuj. She didn't have any skills, but she could still drink it for the time being. Mr. Tang, I'm waiting for you to cook, don't let me down. Qian Yuman teased him happily. Who am I? Tanyuj raised his chin and said narcissistically. The movements on his hands became busy. In the eyes of the professional Qian Yuman, the cooking skills were like those of a novice. He cut the vegetables into small and large pieces, and poured in enough oil to fry the vegetables. He was. Do you really want to cook for her? Staying skeptical, she had no doubt that the food he cooked was definitely not delicious, but someone was becoming stubborn, so she could only supervise Tanyuj not to burn down her brother's house. 10 minutes later, a bowl of vegetables and shredded pork noodles was served and placed in front of Qian Yuman. By the smell, she knew there was too much oil, the vegetables were too old, there was not enough salt, and the noodles were too cooked. Let's have a taste of this chef's cooking. Can I refuse to eat? Can't. Tanyuj ruthlessly refused, and a poor pregnant woman pouted and ate with a grimace. The taste was just as she expected. It wasn't delicious, but at least it wasn't hard to swallow. Is it delicious? Tanyuj looked at Jianyuman expectantly. It's delicious even if it's not delicious, she still has to say it's delicious, not to mention it's not hard to swallow, so she can't say it's a lie. If it tastes good, eat more. I'm pregnant. After all, I like to eat salty and sour food. Jianyuman found an excuse for herself, poured some vinegar and salt into the noodles, and continued eating. Jianyuman felt warm in her heart while eating the noodles made by Tanyuj, and she liked the feeling of being pampered by him. It was already 1 o'clock in the morning. There were footsteps on the stairs. Jianyuman looked up and saw that it was Xianyuengsun and his wife. Chao Xiaofeng's belly was already very big, but compared with Jianyuman's pregnancy belly, it was still a bit worse. After all, she was pregnant with 2 little ones. Xiaofeng Jianyuman happily dropped her chopsticks and ran towards Chao Xiaofeng. Oops, my manman is awake. Chao Xiaofeng also happily wanted to run away, but was stopped by Xianyuengsun. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 1560. Chapter 1560 Happy Xiaofeng 3. Slow down, manman can't run, she's right over there, why are you so anxious? Xianyuengsun felt like he had turned into an old woman. He was also tired of having a pregnant wife who was still restless. Chao Xiaofeng ignored the words of the old lady Xianyuengsun. When she came to Jianyuman, she happily went up to her and wanted to hug her excitedly. Hey, 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 be careful. Jianyuman took a step back and rushed to hug her. She was definitely stared at by her brother on the side. Look, you all regard me as a national treasure. I'm nothing, Chao Xiaofeng said angrily and funny. The two hugged each other gently for a while and said hello to each other. Xiaofeng, what are you and my brother doing out in the middle of the night? Chao Xiaofeng pointed to the noodles Jianyuman was eating just now and pointed to her belly with a smile. This baby is hungry and needs to eat in the middle of the night. Xianyuengsun and Jianyuman exchanged a few words and went to the kitchen. Jianyuman looked at her brother's familiar technique and looked at Chao Xiaofeng with an ambiguous expression. Hey, my brother's skills have been mastered by you, a greedy little cat. Chao Xiaofeng's face turned slightly red and she pointed at her stomach with dissatisfaction. Where is I? He is obviously doing it for his daughter, not for me as a mother. Since Chao Xiaofeng became pregnant, she often felt hungry in the middle of the night. The chef was already asleep at that time. Chao Xiaofeng didn't want to wake the chef frequently to make food for her, so she asked the chef to prepare delicious food in the refrigerator. Xianyuengsun didn't want Chao Xiaofeng to eat cold food, so he offered to make her a midnight snack. The craftsmanship is mediocre at first, but the more times you cook it, the more delicious it becomes. Up until midnight, as long as Xianyuengsun was around, he would definitely cook the supper for Chao Xiaofeng. Brother, remember to cook more, I also want to eat your cooking, Jianyuman shouted with a smile. Tanyuj turned grim and pointed at the noodles he had just made. Isn't my cooking delicious? Jianyuman really didn't want to offend him. She was used to eating delicious food, but eating Tanyuj's ordinary food was a kind of torture. How could it be? It's delicious. I love eating it. Jianyuman didn't want to be disappointed. She took Tanyuj's noodles and ate them with great enthusiasm. Tanyuj was satisfied. But when Xianyuengsun's seafood fried rice was served, Jianyuman abandoned Tanyuj's noodles and ate her brother's fried rice, praising it sincerely while eating. Brother, your cooking is so delicious. I'm so envious of Xiaofeng for having such a good husband. Whether it tastes good or not, Jianyuman's eating habits have made it very clear. She doesn't like Tanyuj's food, but she just doesn't want to hurt his young heart. Tanyuj felt depressed for a while, and secretly made up his mind to practice more frequently. It's intolerable for my wife to envy someone else's husband, even if it's her own brother. You can't lose, you must do something that your wife will praise. Chow Xiaofeng was originally small, but her belly kept growing after pregnancy, but her figure didn't grow at all. She also ate a lot, so it looked like she would fall down at any time due to her belly. No wonder Xian Yuanxun fell down every time. It's scary, it looks scary to the naked eye. She just doesn't pay attention and runs around. Husband, your skills have improved. Chow Xiaofeng did not hesitate to praise her, and she felt even happier eating. End of this chapter.